Hey y'all, it's May. Welcome and welcome back. I wanted to just have a quick little candid chat because I've been struggling a lot with my motivation. I'm hoping this will all be one take. I have started and stopped this many times. I just had a pretty successful take, except it was 18 minutes and there was multiple times where I wanted to edit stuff out as it was happening. I was like, nope, edit that out. And so I don't want to deal with that. So I'm just doing it again. I've done this so many times, but it's okay. Hello, if you don't know me, I have ADHD, and it is quite the fun time. Let me tell ya. Yeah, the main point of this, God, I've been struggling a lot with my motivation recently. One example, I have two videos that I've been wanting to edit. I started both of them. Two videos, I started both of them. My brain, though, is not seeing it as one project, and here's another project that's different. My brain is seeing it all as one big conglomerate. Um, and so that makes the work double in my head. And so, because the amount of work that it is now in my head, in my perception, is so much bigger, I'm like, oh, I do not see it. I refuse to look at it. You know, classic avoidance. I'm very good at avoidance. Wish I wasn't. Wish I could just tackle this head on. But it's very difficult, especially because obviously I know these are two different videos. These are two different things. But I cannot separate what I logically know from just like my entire being yelling at me that this is one big thing and that we're scared of this big thing because that's a lot of work to have to deal with. And so again, I'm just gonna look away. I do not see it. And so it's been frustrating because I cannot get myself to edit these videos that I think would be very fun for me to do. But no, ADHD brain says no, and I can't convince it to say yes, and I'm finding that very difficult and frustrating. There are so many other things related to my motivation that are very frustrating. Um, like for example, I just graduated college, and routine building nowadays is so much more difficult than it was while in school, because obviously part of the routine was already taken care of for me with like class schedules. So I didn't have to think about that. I just had to like fill in here and there in the empty spaces and stuff like that. And so it was much easier to build a schedule and routine. But now, there is nothing. There is there I have a whole day. There's a whole day, and that's terrifying. It just feels so aimless. And so when I try to build routine, I try to make it not so aimless, and I give myself concrete things to do. But I just can't seem to do those at all. Like, first, I have a lot of different interests, and for some reason, it feels like a failure to not be able to do all of those interests all in one day. And so, because I can't do all of them all in one day, for some reason, that feels like a failure to my brain. And you know what ends up happening? I end up doing nothing. You would think that that would feel worse. Let me tell you, yes, it does. It feels terrible. It feels so bad because once I let myself start doing nothing in the day, I shouldn't say let myself, because I don't really have too much control on this. It is very difficult to get the motivation and like get over things. There's a big gap to I have to jump over, and I can't jump that far. what was I saying before I started going into metaphor land? Oh, what was I saying? I have a big gap to jump over. Letting myself. I'm not letting myself do this. It simply is the executive dysfunction. But once I get in the habit of like, not even habit, once I just slip back into that place of like not being able to do anything, that just keeps happening, and it just gets harder and harder to get out of that and like do anything, and I end up neglecting the things I need to do to take care of my health and things like that. Even truly just every single thing that I do for myself, it becomes like just a struggle and a battle of being able to start the motions of it and keep going. And again, like doing nothing in the day feels so bad, but for some reason it also feels so bad to not do every single thing ever that I like. And it's hard to build a schedule. Like I should try building like a replica class schedule of like I'll do this thing twice a week on these days at this exact time, or I don't know. But even that is so difficult now because of not having the outside pressure of someone who I will disappoint if I don't show up to class, or even like it's hard it's hard for me to be a writer right now on my own and like find submission dates and things like that and actually submit my plays and my poetry to different places, even though I have these dates. So that's good that there's a deadline, but there's no one specific that I know I know who they are, I know their face, they matter to me. I don't have a person that if I don't turn that in, I'm going to like they'll be disappointed in me. I need someone I need someone who I think will be disappointed in me if I don't turn it in, because I'm like, "Oh no, I need to make this person proud, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it on time. It'll be just barely. I will have finished all my work in an adrenaline rush the few hours before it's due, but I'll turn it in. I will turn it in. I'll do it. I'll show up to class. I'll do the things I need to do, and I won't disappoint this person by going through those motions and doing those things." But I don't have an outside person that is doing that for me right now. And so obviously I used to have teachers and stuff like that, but I don't have that now. And so it's really hard not having someone who I think I'll disappoint, because that was the main reason I was getting work done in the first place. That's why I feel blessed. This is going to sound I feel blessed being an ADHD having brain that developed anxiety as a method to cope with the ADHD. simply simply because I could get the work done. Like the anxiety of like upsetting someone was enough to trick me into doing what I needed to do. And you know what? That's what worked. But I don't have that now, so now I'm just anxious. I'm just anxious all the time because I'm not doing anything, but it's no longer productive. I would like to get rid of the generalized anxiety disorder because it was productive. I will give it that. It was productive before. It is not anymore. Oh my goodness. The good thing is the past couple of days I at least started exercising again, so that's at least one thing that I'm beginning to do a little bit more regularly again. I think I was getting a little bit too intense with how long, like the duration and how often a week I wanted to do it for, and so I think also when I have too much exposure to something, I just want to avoid it even harder. So I started avoiding it and I stopped exercising, but exercising makes my brain feel good. So I need to do that because it makes me feel happier. Ooh, my screen went dark a little bit, but that's okay. But it makes my brain happy, so I gotta do that for myself. But so I've been starting to get back on the horse with that. So hopefully this kind of like somersaults into me getting back on the horse with other things like reading and writing. 'Cause I don't remember the last time I did those things. I don't remember the last time I played Animal Crossing. It's been at least like 3 weeks since the last time I played. And mind you, again, these are all things that I enjoy. Some of these things, even which I am passionate about. I love these things. They light me up. They fill me with just so much joy and love. I love these things. And yet, I recently am truly not able to do them just because of executive dysfunction and the inability to motivate myself and kickstart these things. There's a video, I forget the channel, I will hopefully remember to link it below. It has to do with ADHD and this concept of the motivation bridge and like getting more planks in your bridge so you can make the leap across the rest of the way easier. Right now it just feels like I have maybe like 1 or 2 planks on my bridge and nothing more. And so I need more planks. I need more planks for my bridge. I'm gonna link this video below because it will make a lot more sense if you for context, because now I just sound however I sound to you if you don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, oh my god. Yeah, all this to say, I'm really struggling and I'm trying to find more ways to trick myself into doing things, but it is just so exhausting having to always trick myself into doing the things that I like, that I enjoy. Again, I like these things. I love these things. But it is so difficult to do it recently. And it isn't always this bad. Like anything, like things get easier, things get worse. Like we're just all riding this wave. But, right now I'm definitely at a more difficult point where just literally everything is hard. And yeah, it's frustrating. I'm frustrated, but it's okay. It's gonna be fine, because things will get easier at some point. I think I've talked about all I need to talk about just now. If you're watching this and you have ADHD and you've been dealing with motivation problems, it's not your fault. It's just your brain. That's just how your brain works. So, being kind to yourself. It is very difficult. I understand, clearly. But just remember to be kind to yourself and try your darndest. I don't know if I talked about this time or a different time that I attempted recording this, but I think focusing on, the positive bits is important. Obviously, not a cure-all sort of thing, but if you're able to just do one thing in the day, like if you're able to brush your teeth in the morning and like eat breakfast, please just celebrate that. And instead of focusing too hard, I know you'll still focus on it kinda at least, but instead of focusing too hard on what you're unable to accomplish in the day, always remember to celebrate the things you actually can get done, because even if it's small, it helps. It helps. It helps at least a little bit. What would also help is if I was medicated for my ADHD. Hopefully I'll be medicated in the near future. Obviously, not that that will fix everything, but I think it'll help a little bit with all this motivation business that I am struggling with. I am losing steam. So I'm going to go. Thank you so much for joining me as I talk about motivation struggles. If you have ADHD, I hope you're not in the same boat at the moment. Hope you're doing better than I am at the moment. But if you're not, we're in this together. We got this. We'll do the things we like eventually. It's okay. I'm here with you. You're here with me. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna go try to do something. Anything at all. So, wish me luck. Thanks for hanging out. It's been a blast. I gotta cut myself off. Bye, guys.